UK closing its borders. The UK is closing its borders from Monday, March 29, until the end of June. British Airways and EasyJet have suspended all summer flights to European tourist destinations. The traffic light system for travel is red list countries are prohibited, yellow countries require quarantine, and green list destinations require vaccination tests and/or certificates to get the go-ahead for travel. In news of the few last hours, in fact, the UK is closing its borders from Monday, March 29, until the end of June. From that date, anyone who does not have urgent reasons for health and work cannot leave the national borders. Anyone found not complying will be fined up to £5,000. To be signed into law and submitted to Parliament on Tuesday by the Johnson administration is the extension of emergency powers linked to the pandemic. This will be voted on this Thursday, April 1, but which is already given as a certainty. This measure comes as a blow on the anniversary of the first English lockdown, which began on March 23, 2020. The third wave of COVID that has brought Germany to a new squeeze frightened the British government. The United Kingdom, in fact, fears that it will compromise its vaccination campaign with importation of the variants. At the moment, those arriving from Europe have the obligation to remain in quarantine for 10 days. This could soon be extended to 14 days. The so-called quarantine hotels are reserved for people in isolation, which are responsible for taking over travelers from a red list of 33 countries at highest risk under strict surveillance. Restrictive measures those imposed by Johnson could also be extended in July and August, with holidays allowed only in countries included in a sort of green zone. UK, airlines in chaos after the travel stop. The closure of the UK borders until the end of June triggered an earthquake in the plans of the British Airlines. A few hours after the announcement of the extra measures by the Johnson administration, British Airways suspended all summer flights already planned and their respective bookings mostly directed to European tourist destinations. The same decision was also carried out by EasyJet and other British companies. Communications from the government, which on April 12 will have to decide on the postponement of the reopening plan or not, are not reassuring to the carriers. The Minister of Health, Lord Bethell, even feared the closure of the borders towards those European states where the variants of COVID continue to increase infections. There seems to be a concrete possibility, therefore, that most European countries will be included by the United Kingdom on the red list which prohibits travel. The consequences. The cancellations by British Airways and EasyJet are obviously already causing heavy protests from travelers who had reservations for the Netherlands, France, Germany, and Italy. A spokesperson for the airline that is part of the IAG holding explained that anyone who finds him or herself with a cancelled flight can ask for a refund. British Airways, like other British carriers, await the new decisions of Boris Johnson's administration task force which, again on April 12, should reveal the plans of the traffic light system in which travel to the red list countries will remain prohibited, the yellow countries will require quarantine, and green list destinations should only require vaccination tests and/or certificates to get the go-ahead for travel. In any case, it is becoming increasingly difficult for airlines to plan summer without certainty about which and how many countries will be visited by British tourists, as well as the dates for the reopening of the borders. It was just a few weeks ago, the British government's announcement of a 4-stage plan for reopening had spiked air ticket bookings for the summer. The coronavirus continues to surprise. #rebuilding